What's up, my fabs and besties? We just did a Na 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 surprise unbox daily. They are $20 fabric dolls by MGA. I really want to make one that's larger. So it looks like it's time for another versus. I start by getting a piece of paper and a pencil. Lay a Barbie onto the paper. Let's just trace around her legs. This will give us an idea of how to make our doll. It's a good starting point. I altered the foot. I made it a little bigger and a little wider. This will make it easier to turn the fabric inside out. And I left a little space at the top so we can attach the legs to the body. Then draw the body, arm, and a head. I marked where I want to leave an opening so I can turn it. Cut them out. I cut them out without a seam allowance. I went to the fabric store and bought a variety of fabrics in skin tones. This is a broadcloth. It's a thin cotton. They cost me $1 to $1.50 for half a yard. I was able to find this one at Walmart in their fat quarter section, priced at 97 cents. I take a moment to iron my fabric. I used a real iron in real life. It's just easier to use a miniature on camera. Place the pattern onto the fabric. Use a pencil to trace around it. I want a visible line because I'm going to sew directly over the line. Leave some space, then trace the second leg, the arms, body, and head. Cut around each one. Place it onto the fabric. Cut around it again, so we will have the front and back for each piece. I'm going to use a pin to hold the two layers together, then continue cutting out all of the pieces. Once everything has been cut out, I have 6 different pieces. You can use a needle and thread or a sewing machine. I'm using my brother's sewing machine. I threaded it with a matching thread. I'm going to sew the body first, and I'm going to start in this bottom corner and then go all the way around and stop in this corner. Remove it from the machine. Sew around the arms, making sure to leave an opening. For the legs, I start at the top, go all the way around, and end back at the top. And at the end, go back and forth to lock the stitch. Sew around the head, leaving an opening at the top. Trim around each one, leaving a nice size allowance. This fabric has a tendency to fray if you cut it too close to the line. Cut little lines around the curves to release the tension. Turn it inside out through the opening. I'm using a chopstick to help push out whatever we need pushed out. Tuck the top in, iron it smooth. Repeat for all the other pieces. Fill the head with fluff. Use a needle and thread to sew the opening closed. It didn't come out perfectly round. It's kind of like a strawberry, but maybe when we add some hair, it'll be all right. I want to add wire to the arms and legs so they can bend. I bought this floral wire at the dollar store. Straighten out a piece. This is a 12 gauge aluminum wire. It is pretty easy to bend. Take pliers and make a curl in one end. This will stop the wire from poking through the fabric. Measure it to the length of the arm. Cut a little past it. Curl the other end. Place it on the fabric and make sure it fits. Add a little bit of fluff, pushing it down to the ends. Add the wire. I had to bend the wire to get it inside, but then I can just straighten it back out. Add more stuffing, then sew the opening closed. Then repeat for the other one. Place a little stuffing in the bottom of the legs. Make a wire that stops about a ½ inch from the top. Place it inside. Add stuffing. Make sure to leave enough space at the top for the seam allowance. Repeat for the other leg. Make a rounded triangle shape for the torso. Place it inside. Add stuffing. Then fold over the bottom and tuck it in. We're going to make a crease right across the bottom. Take the legs, make sure the seam is facing up. Pinch the top and place it inside of the torso. I'm using a needle and thread, and I'm just going to stitch going right across, going all the way through the fabric. Add the other leg, tie and knot the end, and of course you can use a sewing machine if you prefer. Take the arms, make sure the seam is in the back, place it near the shoulder, use a needle and thread to go through the top of the arm, through the body, and out the other side. Place the other arm on the needle, pull the needle all the way through, go back and forth a few times to attach the arms that can be raised and lowered. And since we used wire, we can bend all of the arms and legs to make different poses. For the head, we need to paint some eyes. This makes me a little nervous, so I made an extra head to practice on. Alright, that's pretty simple, but maybe we can add a little more detail. Oh, no, that's not good at all. Let's get a little help from a book. I am practicing on a piece of paper because I ran out of practice heads. Alright, let's see if we can actually do this. I'm using washi tape to divide the face, then sketch it with a pencil, go over it with fabric paint, add details. So far, it's definitely better than my first two. I think the eyes are a little far apart, but there's not much we can do about it now. So let's keep going. Let's add a little color to the eyes. I'm using a color pencil to color the white around the eye. I kept the nose and mouth pretty simple, and I used a color pencil to add a little rosiness to the cheeks. With a little bit of practice, I think I'm improving. Now let's attach the head to the body. I figure out where I want it to go, carefully use pins to hold it in place, sew it firmly in place to attach the head. Now if the head is leaning forward too much, remember we do have wire in the body and we can just push her shoulders back. You could also choose to put a hole in the back of the head and put the neck inside and stitch around it. However, I chose to go with this way because this fabric is fraying a little bit and I didn't want to give it any more opportunities. I just made one with a lighter skin tone and added a few freckles. For the white of her eyes, I had to use paint. You couldn't see it with a color pencil. So now I'm wondering if I should go ahead and paint her eyes white. I think I'm gonna do it so that they match. Please don't mess it up. Please don't mess it up. Please don't mess it up. Okay, not terrible, but I wanna try again. Urgh. And the only way to do that is to make another head. Don't stop now, never let this end. This time I'm not gonna draw a nose. Instead, I'm just gonna make a little tiny line for the mouth. Use a color pencil to add a little pink to her cheeks. Wow, I like it so much better. I left off the nose, made the mouth smaller. Sometimes less is more. Now I have to change all the other dolls. Okay, that only took like 6 hours. I tried to be as consistent as I could, but they still all came out a little different. Aw, love her little freckles. Next step is hair. We're gonna go with yarn. It's classic, it's traditional, it's easy to find, and it's inexpensive. Let's lay out several strands. I have to cut them as I go. Smooth it out in the middle. Try to get them to all lay side by side. Let's put some tape right around the center. Add a second piece, leaving a little space in the middle. Carefully tuck the tape underneath. So we're sandwiching the yarn in between. We can use a needle and thread to sew down that line, or a sewing machine. I went back and forth over it a few times to make sure everything was sewn down. Remove the tape. I made two, a long one and a shorter one. Take the longer one, the seam is going this way, and we're gonna place it right on top of the doll's head and glue that in place. You can sew it, I'm just gluing because it's faster. I made it long enough so it goes all the way around. Take the other track of yarn and glue it going down the center of the head. If you're worried about bald spots, we can just glue a few of these strands down to the head to cover the gaps. Then place the hair from the center seam right on top. Give her a little haircut, style the hair, and the construction for our little doll is done. We can unravel the yarn to make wavy hair. We can brush the yarn out before we glue it on for a combable hair texture that you can straighten with a flat iron or curl with a curling iron. And it's very easy to style in a braid. Mix different colors of yarn to make highlights. You can really make them as simple or as detailed as you like. Now, to get them dressed. That's right, they can fit some Barbie clothes, giving them access to our endless Barbie closet. These dolls are a little taller than a Barbie, but the clothes seem to fit just fine. Let's try out some pants. For the most part they fit. There is a crease where the legs are attached. The headphones are a little small for her head, but she can wear them around her neck. I couldn't get Barbie shoes to fit, but Ken shoes are an option. Just bend the foot, then the Ken shoes will fit. She's got a little bit of a wrinkly ankle there, but we're still gonna do it. These dolls are completely customizable, so you could make your own mini-me's. This is my fabric Toya doll, and this is my fabric Bella doll. I was totally thinking Anne with an E when I made her. I was originally thinking Storm for her, but then changed my mind last minute and gave her dark hair. Or you can always try to recreate your own version of the Na 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 Surprise dolls. She's supposed to be kind of like Tuesday Meow. These dolls cannot stand on their own, but we can bend leftover wire to make a doll stand. But the wire inside of their bodies makes them pretty poseable, so they have no problem sitting in chairs. And they look really cute in little scarves. Since this is a versus, let's bring in the Na 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 Surprise doll. I think they definitely got me on the cuteness factor. She has hair versus yarn, but her hat is not removable, so I'm gonna take points for that. She can stand on her own, so they got me there. She only comes with one outfit, and our doll can wear Barbie clothes, so I'm gonna take that point. They both can move at the shoulder and the hip. However, our custom doll is a little more poseable because she's got wire on the inside. This doll cost around $20, and our custom doll was $1 for the fabric, $4 for the yarn, and one more for the wire, so that is $6. Because we already had the stuffing and the paint at home. Plus, it was a lot of fun to make our own doll. But it took a lot of time. And this one, you can just buy it from the store. I really struggled with painting the face. Handmade fabric doll versus store-bought fabric doll. Did we get close? Or did we miss the mark? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for joining us for another Versus. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell and follow us on Instagram at MyFroggyStuff and the Frog Vlog. And we will see you next time. Bye!
Would you rather stay right here? Make everything disappear. Keep playing my favorite song. Put your rose-colored glasses on. What if we stay right here? Make everything disappear. Lay low in the beaching sun. Put your rose-colored glasses on. Front porch sipping on the rocks. Citrus in our beverages. Citrus in our beverages. Show only the good sides. Always pretty smiles are covering her faces. You know it is all lies. You know it is all lies.